Welcome to the Unpacking It podcast with Bryce Johnson. It's a show that unpacks sports, faith, and life with intriguing guests from the sports and entertainment world. Enjoy inspiring conversations and thought-provoking interviews. You'll hear stories from people that will inspire, challenge, and encourage you. Now, from the Unpacking It studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, uniting sports fans everywhere, here is Bryce Johnson.
And joining us now is pro golfer on the PGA Tour, Cameron Tringale. He turned pro in 2009 after an accomplished college career at Georgia Tech, where he won the ACC Championship as a freshman, played in the 2007 and 2009 U.S. Amateur Championship, and was a three-time All-American. Since turning pro, he's played in 10 majors, and his best world golf ranking has been 55. Cameron, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
Hey, Bryce. Good to be with you.
All right, man. Well, we're glad to have you, and we'll talk golf first, and we're a few months into the golf season. So how are you feeling about your game so far in 2019?
Well, golf is a game that can come and go at any time, seemingly. And it's a game of ups and downs, and one that requires a lot of patience and belief, even when your game is not where you want it to be. And so this year, I'm proud of, I guess, the way I've just waited for good play to come my way. And I feel like the last maybe 2 months I've started to find some results that match up with how I feel about my game, which is pretty strong. I feel good about my game, and I've been encouraged by some recent results. So definitely feel like I'm heading in the right direction.
Oh, that's great. What was there an aspect of your game that you were working on, and that's where you're seeing the results?
You know, golf's so complex, and there are so many possible solutions a lot of the time. But for me, the one thing I spent the most time on was just trying to recreate my mindset and my attitude. Physically, my game felt the same throughout the year, but just felt like I needed just a little bit more poise in my game. And so that's been a difference maker.
That's cool, because I was going to ask you, so you're about 10 years into your career. So how do you approach your game, even your schedule, your mentality, kind of like you mentioned? How is that different than when you first started, on tour 10 years ago?
Well, Bryce, one of the good things about experience is just down to the very week of the golf tournament, there's a lot less that I feel like I need to do in order to be prepared. As a rookie, the first couple of years, you're seeing all the golf courses that we play on the PGA Tour for the first time often, and so there's a lot more prep Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, trying to learn as much as you can about the golf course in a few days. And as I show up at an event now, I'm typically familiar with the golf course. I know where I'm staying, how to the easiest route to get there. I know the pin locations, and I'm comfortable with usually a game plan for the golf course. And this first couple of years, you're trying to figure out a new course each week, and that could be pretty tiring.
No question. Pro golfer Cameron Tringale, our guest right now on Unpacking It. And so along those lines, too, just now 10 years in, as becoming more of a veteran on tour, what about how you handle losing, and how has your perspective on even missing cuts changed over the years?
Well, in a lot of ways, my perspective's changed. I think I can kind of zoom out a little bit more, take a higher level view of my game and where it's at now, and be comfortable in, say, a slump, knowing that it's just for a season. Like, golf will come around most of the time if you let it. So that's one part of it. So when you know you're struggling, it's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to work on small improvements each week and hopefully build momentum. But on the other hand, I'm a competitive person, and missing cuts is never fun, and I'm always bummed and disappointed when that happens. But the benefit is just being able to pull yourself, zoom out, and just say, look, golf's full of ups and downs. I know this is just for a short amount of time. I just have to stay patient, and hopefully it'll come around. So
that's good stuff. That's a great perspective for all of us when we're having, whether it's bad days, bad weeks, bad months, to zoom out. I like that a lot. Cameron Tringale, our guest right now on Unpacking It. And so when you wake up in the morning and you know you're a pro golfer, what's the best part about that, and what's the hardest part about that?
Let's see. The hardest part is, I think, just the grind of playing, the grind of competing every week. Golf's a game where you have to go earn your spot every week, earn your money every week. So just the constant stress of feeling like you're only as good as your last performance, basically. And so there's just there can be that pressure to keep up. And then the travel's pretty difficult as well, just not having much regularity at home. I always joke, like, when I have a week off, it's like I'm on vacation, but I'm just actually going to the place that I have a bed and a car. But it's really a place I'm not very often. So I miss the being connected with people at home, and there are ways that I've got friends out on the road and stuff too, but it's different. The best part, I think, is just being able to compete in a game that I love. I've always loved, since I started playing, I've loved the game of golf and trying to shoot a score and trying to figure out the best you can do for that day. And I think I'm incredibly lucky that I get to do it outside. I get to just always work on it at my pace. It's a big blessing. And it also has given me a lot of freedom when I am home. Although I do practice and work hard at my game, I'm not tied down to any particular schedule or work hours.
No, that's a great perspective. Cameron Tringale, our guest right now on Unpacking It, talking a little golf, faith, and life with him today. And the exciting part of your life recently was you got married at the end of 2018. So I'm sure everybody asked you how married life is, but what's your biggest takeaway so far?
My biggest takeaway so far has just been the team aspect of a marriage. My wife and I are quite different personalities, but we have one goal, and that's to honor the Lord and love people really well. We do that differently, and it looks very different for both of us. However, I know she's got my back and best interest, and the same goes for me and her. So I've just loved the idea of, all right, we're a team. It's not me anymore. It's we. That's been, not been perfect. We've had to learn even in the first 6 months here what that looks like. But just having a partner and someone who's got your back is really special.
And has she been able to travel with you for most of the tournaments?
She has, yeah.
That's great.
She's really enjoyed getting to see some of these places that I've been going to for years, and it's fun for me too to go with someone it is their first time. It's like almost me experiencing it all over again.
That's fun. What's been her favorite place, and is that maybe the same favorite place for you or different?
She, funny, it's not at all. She loves Puerto Rico.
Oh,
that's been her favorite tournament because we stayed in a place, condo right on site there, and she could see the beach and the mountains from our place at the same time. So she loves the ocean, and she walked over and got in the water almost every day. So that was her favorite.
And that's not necessarily your favorite?
No. I mean, it's a nice event, and nothing against the tournament, but definitely not my favorite event.
So what's your favorite spot on the tour then?
My favorite tournament is the one held at Riviera every year. It's changed names over the years, but I just love it. I think it's the Genesis Open now, and I love Riviera. I think it's the best golf course we play. year in and year out on the PGA Tour, and fairly close to where I grew up, so it feels like a home event.
Very neat. Cameron Tringale, our guest right now on Unpacking It. And so, of course, we love talking golf and life, and also love to just unpack your faith journey as well. And so, from what I understand, the key turning point in your life was in college, where you were actually experiencing success, especially on the golf course. So what was taking place then that ultimately, in this season of success, led you to Jesus?
Well, it was, like you said, it was a combination of success and with golf and school, and just feeling what I felt should have been on top of the world, and yet experiencing kind of a void in my life. The accolades and the golf success was not living up to the hype. Like I expected just to feel different, feel fulfilled, and I did, and from a golf perspective, but as a person, I felt, I knew I was missing something. And Bryce, I grew up going to church pretty regularly. I've never really doubted the existence of God. I always sort of believed God existed, and I knew Jesus died on the cross for our sins, but it didn't become personal for me until I went through that season of a lot of successes, and it really exposed that I didn't really have much of a relationship with Jesus. It was more religion and just being in the building, saying the things I thought I should say, and I was struggling to find that peace that Jesus talked about. I didn't have the joy that he promises. I didn't have the contentment that I knew I should have. And so it sort of sent me searching to really investigate, all right, my faith says it should do these things. Where's the gap? Like, why isn't it connecting from what I know in my head to my heart? And I realized I didn't have a relationship with Christ. I was basing my standing with God off of, my achievements, instead of resting in the perfect grace that he offers all of us, his finished work. Amen.
Gosh. Well, that's a powerful story, and to get to that point of understanding, and the truth behind success doesn't take away the emptiness. And so I think people can relate to that. And the sooner we recognize that, instead of chasing that, the sooner we will find that peace and joy that's found in Jesus. And so also during that season of life where you're starting to think about this differently and pursue Jesus differently, a friend played a key role as well. And as you look back on that, I don't know, what's maybe even an encouragement to people listening to recognize the impact that we can have on others when we do just step up and tell others, just about our own faith and about Jesus, and to even challenge others in their faith.
Yeah, I just think about, where might I be if you mentioned, I had a friend basically just, for those listening, challenge me in my beliefs in terms of, you go to church, but you're kind of lacking these things. Are you sure your faith is genuine? And I think just in terms of sharing, I may not know the joy that I have now knowing within my relationship with Christ, had that friend not taken a risk and said some pretty strong things. And so I'm so thankful to that friend. There's nothing more important in life. And I think as long as we are coming from a place of love, we can't really do wrong by sharing. If we really care for someone, and, not only their eternal salvation, but just to enjoy this life and that God has made for each one of us, and to walk with him, to abide with him, that's really the secret to life from what I've learned. And so why wouldn't you want to tell your friends, look what I've found, like this changed my life? It's not always easy, and the devil certainly will try and guard you from, keep you from, sharing the hope of Christ. But I can't ever think back and regret sharing with someone, even though it can be scary and uncertain. If you're loving them, Jesus says he'll go before you, he'll give you the words, and if we really believe that, we should be sharing quite often.
Man, that's awesome. Good stuff from Cameron Tringale here on Unpacking It, talking golf, faith, and life. He's a pro golfer on the PGA Tour. And so this was a turning point in your life. You begin to follow Jesus in college and really understand this difference between religion and really having a relationship with Jesus. So what are some ways since then that you've really grown and experienced this life with him? Just as you kind of think back, what are some key moments or key aspects of your life that you've just seen him infiltrate and change in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things in development and growth is in finding community, having relationships with other believers who can encourage you, spur you on to loving good deeds. And I think that is, it's very difficult in my experience, to grow alone. Jesus is all we need, but he built us as relational beings, and we're made for relationship with him, but we're also made for relationship with others who are like-minded. And so having guys who can be a source of encouragement, to pray for me, and do likewise to meet and study God's word together. One of the biggest things in my life was a relationship that the Lord gave me with a guy named Brad Payne, who is with a ministry called College Golf Fellowship, and we became friends like my rookie year on tour. I think we just started reading the Bible together and kind of showing me what this life looks like, what the Christian life can be, and really just encouraging me to keep my eyes up, to keep them focused on Jesus and not on Cameron. So I think that goes without saying. Being connected at your church as much as you can, that's been important in my life. And with being on the road, I mentioned earlier, just not having that consistency at home, I think is a drawback from this lifestyle. But I'm thankful that the Lord's provided other believers on tour who I can fellowship with and spend time with while I'm working on my game and playing tournaments.
That's right. No, that's a huge blessing when you can connect with those guys on tour, and I know that's a vibrant aspect for a lot of you guys, and that's always cool to hear about. And you mentioned a College Golf Fellowship, and I know that you and your wife, you guys are involved with that now that you're a little bit older, pouring into the next generation of guys who are coming on tour or are playing college golf and all that sort of thing. So what is your role at this point, and what did it look like to have a retreat at your house earlier this year?
Yeah, I mean, my role basically is just trying to help where I can. My wife and I did host a retreat, which we had about 25 college golfers come and spend 3 days with us in our home in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And we played golf. We did a service project. My pastor came and taught through the book of Ephesians. And really, those retreats, I'm so excited about CGF, and I just wish, I wish I had done this when I was in college. Yeah, I was a senior when I really heard the gospel for the first time. And as a kid, most of these guys, when I was in college, I wanted to be a pro. So hearing the testimony of someone pointing me towards Jesus and not towards winning the next tournament could have been really impactful. And so my wife and I, want to encourage those guys, like, hey, golf's never going to satisfy you. And not that golf isn't a great gift, it is, but it's not going to deliver what it promises. And so, that's sort of my involvement. And it's been a blessing to be part of that ministry. I'm always encouraged when guys come back, or you just see them at tournaments. Sometimes the guys will come and follow me around. And anyway, it's cool to build some of those relationships. Wow.
Well, no, that's great to hear, and cool that you are just able to pour into the next group of guys coming up. So really encouraged by that. And man, really just appreciate you being a part of the show today and for opening up and being such an encouragement to our listeners today and to myself as well. And so we wish you the best on tour this summer, and keep working on that game and enjoy this first year of marriage, because that's always just a fun time in life. So soak it in the best you can.
All right, Bryce. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. There's Cameron Tringale joining us here on Unpacking It.
For more information about the show, our events, and other resources, visit unpackinit.com. That's unpackinit.com. We hope you are encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. To support our show and Unpacking It Ministries with a financial gift, visit unpackinit.com/donate. We look forward to unpacking sports, faith, and life with you again next week.